and they only want you. That is the first message coming through here. And wow, this feels like someone whose attention keeps returning to you no matter how much they try to keep themselves composed. I do not feel this is a passing attraction. I feel this is somebody who sees you in a way that goes beyond surface beauty, and that is exactly why the energy around them feels so intense, so focused, and so hard for them to shake. So let's go ahead and see where you are in this connection right now. What is your overall energy here? Here is the Empress. So yes, I feel you are carrying a very magnetic, self-possessed, glowing energy right now. There is something about you that feels soft and powerful at the same time, and I feel this person picks up on that deeply. They do not just see someone attractive, they see someone radiant, someone they want near them, someone whose energy feels rare. And where is this person right now? Here is the King of Wands. Wow. Okay, so yes, this person is extremely drawn to you. There is desire here, focus here, and a very strong pull to move closer. I feel they think about you more often than they let on. And I feel this is someone who may act confident on the outside. But when it comes to you, there is a lot more urgency, hunger, and emotional heat beneath the surface than they may ever openly admit. And what is going on for both of you right now? Here's the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. So yes, this is not only physical, there is a lot more urgency, hunger. That is one of the first things Spirit wants to make clear. There is longing here. Yes, there is attraction here. Yes, but there is also tenderness. There is also heart. And I think that is exactly why this person cannot just brush this off as simple chemistry. There is something more personal, more emotionally rich, and more consuming in it. What else for you? Here is admiration. Yes, and I love that because I feel Spirit is showing that your energy is not invisible. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you move, and the way your heart feels all leave a mark. And for them, here is fixation. Wow, yes. So I do feel this person has been lingering on you in their mind. Maybe revisiting moments with you, imagining what it would be like to get closer, or just feeling themselves repeatedly pulled back toward your energy. For both of you, here is chemistry. Beautiful. So yes, the connection has spark, but I feel it has more than spark. I feel it has life in it. There is a current running between you that makes it hard to stay neutral. All right, two cards coming out for you. Here is confidence and here is softness. Yes, so I feel your beauty is not only outer, there is something in your presence that feels warm, grounded, and naturally captivating. For them, here is craving. Wow. So yes, this person wants more than occasional contact. I feel they want your time, your closeness, your focus, and a deeper place in your world than what they may currently have. And for both of you, here is magnetism. So I do feel the pull between you is mutual, even if it has not yet been handled in the clearest way possible. Here is your next energy. Bring love into the situation. Wow. Okay, let's clarify that. Here is the Knight of Cups. Beautiful. So yes, I do feel there is movement toward expression here. And I feel you have changed too. Because with the Empress here, yes, you may be desired, wanted, admired, and very much on this person's mind. But I do not feel you are begging for their attention. You are not chasing. You are not reducing yourself. You are carrying yourself like someone who knows her worth, even if you still have moments of questioning where this is going. And I feel that is one reason this person wants you even more. Because your energy is not cheap, it feels precious. So the main energy coming through is this person is deeply drawn to you. They see you as beautiful in a way that reaches beyond appearance. They see your essence, your presence, your aura, and something in them has locked onto that. And I feel the reason this matters so much is because they do not want random attention. They do not want surface level contact. They do not want a half version of you. They want to. Your energy, your affection, your time, your closeness, and I feel the more they sit with that truth, the harder it becomes for them to act like this is casual, because this connection seems to make them want more than they are used to wanting. And when a person reaches that point, the next thing that happens is usually that the desire starts pushing towards some kind of action. And I feel that pressure is building now. And I feel that shift begins with them realizing wanting you silently is not enough anymore, because your energy is too rare to keep risking now. Okay, let's keep going because I want to look at some more details here. What are you thinking overall about this person and this connection right now? Here is the Ace of Pentacles, the Sunday, and the Two of Wands. Wow, so even if you have tried to stay centered, I feel part of you still sees real possibility here. And that is exactly why this connection has stayed alive in your mind. The Ace of Pentacles says you sense something genuine. The Sunday says this person still lights something up in you. And the Two of Wands says some part of you keeps looking ahead, wondering what happens if this connection actually moves the way it wants to move. So I do not feel your thoughts are flat at all. I feel there is interest, potential, and a very real sense that something more could grow here if both of you stop standing at the edge of it. And what are they thinking about you right now? Here is the Queen of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Six of Wands. Wow, okay. So first of all, I feel this person sees you as someone deeply lovable. The Queen of Cups says they think of you as warm, tender, and emotionally beautiful. Not only physically beautiful, the Page of Pentacles says they are thinking about how to approach you in a more real way. And the Six of Wands says they want success here, they want your attention, they want to be received well. So this person is not just drifting around in attraction. I feel they're considering what it would actually take to make progress with you. And that is important because when somebody moves from desire into intention, the energy starts changing. What are you feeling overall about them right now? Here is the Star, the Lovers, and the Four of Swords. Wow, yes, I feel your heart has not gone cold, but it has needed some peace. The Star says there is still hope inside you. The Lover says the bond itself still feels significant, maybe even faded in some strange way. And the Four of Swords says you have also had moments where you needed quiet distance or rest from overthinking what all of this means. That makes so much sense because when a connection is both beautiful and uncertain, it can pull the heart in two directions. One part wants to believe, another part wants to protect itself. And I feel you have been living inside that tension for a while. And how are they feeling about you right now? Here is the Knight of Cups, the Moon, and the Four of Pentacles. Wow, so yes, they feel romantic energy towards you very strongly, but they are holding it in. The Knight of Cups says their feelings want movement. The Moon says there are fantasies, uncertainties, and emotional layers they have not fully sorted through. And the Four of Pentacles says they are keeping a lot of that contained instead of speaking freely. Let's clarify that Four of Pentacles. Here is the Eight of Swords. Yes. So I feel this person is trapped in their own head. They may be overanalyzing, watching you, wondering about the right moment and making it harder than it needs to be. And one more, here's the Ace of Wands. Beautiful. So yes, the attraction is strong, the spark is alive, and the urge to move towards you is very much there. That is why the inner pressure is building, because what they feel is not fading, it is intensifying. So let's look at your intentions toward them right now. Here's the Queen of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, and Judgment. Wow, okay. So your intention is no longer to just float inside mixed energy. The Queen of Swords says you want honesty. The Six of Pentacles says you want balance and reciprocity. And Judgment says you know something here is coming to a moment of revelation. You are not interested in being admired from a distance forever. You want to see what is real and what are their intentions towards you right now. Here is the King of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, the World, and the High Priestess. Wow, so I do feel this person wants to come forward more genuinely, but in a way that feels solid, not sloppy. The King of Pentacles says they want to appear reliable. The Page of Cups says something softer wants to be spoken. The World says a cycle is turning. And the High Priestess says this connection has worked on them from a very deep, intuitive place. So yes, I do feel they intend to move closer, maybe not with explosive drama, but with more sincerity than before. And honestly, I think that is better because this is the kind of connection that needs something real, not only heat. What exactly has been blocking them? Here's the Two of Swords. Yes, indecision, hesitation, and trying not to fully look at what they already know. Sometimes when a feeling is strong, a person will try to keep it in a half-lit room so they do not have to act on it yet. Let's get another block here. Second house. Yes. So comfort routine and fear of change have slowed them down, but your energy is not letting them stay hidden now, and I feel that matters very much here. All right, let's look at the shared field between you now, because this is where the reading starts showing what the connection itself is doing. How are you both thinking in this connection? Here is the Two of Cups. Wow, so yes, there is mutual awareness here. I do not feel one person is making this up while the other stands untouched. Both of you know there is something here that keeps returning. The Two of Cups says there is emotional recognition between you. There is response. There is a sense that each heart has already met the other somewhere, even if the outer situation has not yet caught up in the clearest way. And how are you both feeling? Here's the Nine of Swords. Yes, that makes sense. Because when a bond is this strong, it can create a lot of pressure, a lot of wondering, and a lot of emotional noise. For you, it may have shown up as trying not to assume too much. For them, it may have shown up as wanting more, while also fearing the vulnerability of showing just how much more they actually want. But either way, this has both of you stirred. Let's clarify that Nine of Swords here is the Three of Pentacles. So the real challenge has not been whether there is chemistry or feeling. The challenge has been how to build this in the real world, how to make it tangible, and how to move from tension into structure. Because that is the message I keep getting. The connection has spark, it has heart, it has attraction, but now it wants form. It wants movement. It wants something you can actually feel in the outer world, not only through intuition. So let's look at where this connection is headed in the near future. Here is the Hierophant, the Page of Wands, and the Star. Wow. Okay, the Hierophant tells me the next phase wants more honesty, more seriousness, and more conscious direction. The Page of Wands says there is movement, curiosity, a bold message, or a sudden opening that injects fresh life into the connection. And the Star says relief, healing, and a much lighter emotional atmosphere are trying to come through after a period of too much uncertainty. I really like that combination because it feels like the connection begins shifting from private tension into visible motion. Something finally begins moving in a way that gives your heart more to work with than just possibilities and guesses. Let's get another card for the near future. Here's the Eight of Wands. Wow. Yes, movement, communication, a faster rhythm. And here is the Hermit reversed. Wow. Okay, so someone is stepping out of their shell and away from silent processing. That matters because the inward phase has gone on long enough. And I feel the next step does not come from perfect certainty. It comes because holding everything in is no longer working. What advice does Spirit have for you right now? Here's the Ten of Cups. Beautiful. Spirit is saying, do not put your joy on pause while someone else figures themselves out. Your emotional life still matters now. Yes, this connection is meaningful. Yes, this person wants you deeply. Yes, the energy looks like it is moving. But your peace, your pleasure, and your inner home still deserve to be protected while all of that unfolds. Let's get another advice card. Here is self-respect. Yes, exactly. You do not need to become cold. You do not need to shut your heart. But you do need to remain in your worth and let this person prove that desire can turn into something steadier. Because wanting you is one thing, approaching you in a healthy and clear way is another. And Spirit wants you watching for that difference. Let's see what this person would say to you if they could speak from the heart. Here is the first message. I think about you more than I should, and I still want more than I say. Wow, yes, that fits completely. Here is another message. I can tell other people are drawn to you too, and I do not like how much that bothers me. Yes, because I feel this person is being forced to face how emotionally affected they are by the idea of competition. Here is another. I keep imagining what it would be like if you were fully mine, and that thought will not leave me alone. Wow, yes. And that is very telling because it shows the mind is not only admiring from afar, it is already moving toward possession, closeness, and the fantasy of exclusivity. Let's get one more. I know I cannot stay still much longer if I want a real chance with you. Yes, and that is really the threshold energy here because once desire becomes clear enough, silence begins to feel like self-sabotage. And I feel that realization is what pushes this connection into the next phase. So Spirit is saying watch for movement, not because movement alone solves everything, but because movement tells you this person has finally crossed a line inside themselves. They are no longer just feeling, they are getting ready to act from what they feel. And that is a very important difference. Okay, let's keep going because I want to look more closely at what is happening inside this person now that the intensity has become impossible for them to dismiss. What are they most afraid of if they step fully toward this? Here's the Tower. Wow, yes, this person is afraid of how much changes once they stop pretending they are fine, because I do not feel they can approach you halfway and stay untouched. I feel they know this would shift their emotional world in a very real way, and part of them is afraid of that level of truth. What else are they afraid of? Here is justice. Yes, there is also fear of accountability. They know that wanting you quietly is not the same thing as showing up for you directly. And if they come in now, they may have to face where they delayed, where they held back, or where they expected you to simply remain available. So the fear is not only about desire, it is also about consequence. It is about knowing that once they move forward, they have to be more honest than they have been before. What do they want most with you now? Here's the lovers. Beautiful. So beneath all the inner conflict, what they want is closeness, reciprocity, and a real choice in the direction of this bond. I do not feel they want to keep hovering around the edges forever. There is something in them that wants a genuine place in your life, not only a fantasy of you in their mind. And that matters because it shows the center of this is not empty. What would help this connection unfold in the healthiest way? Here's temperance. Wow, spirit is saying balanced pacing, emotional composure, honest movement without unnecessary drama. This is not a bond that needs more chaos. It needs enough steadiness for the truth to land well. Let's get another card for what helps. Here is the Three of Pentacles. Yes, grounded effort matters, consistency matters, choices that can be repeated matter. The connection does not need another storm of feeling with no shape behind it. It needs form. What is the lesson you are meant to take from this phase? Here is the Queen of Swords. Wow. Yes, you are learning how to stay receptive without becoming vague. You are learning how to let yourself be desired without handing over your standards. That is powerful because it means you can recognize that someone wants you deeply and still ask whether they are capable of meeting you in a mature way. You do not have to choose between feeling and discernment. You get to keep both. What is the lesson they are meant to take from this phase? Here is the Hanged Man. Yes, this person has been forced to see themselves differently. They have had to sit with the reality that desire by itself does not move a connection forward. And I feel that shift of perspective matters because now they are beginning to understand that if they truly want you, they cannot keep hiding inside fantasy, ego, or delay. Something cleaner is being asked of them. Let's get another card for them. Here's Heart Chakra. Beautiful. So I feel they are being pushed to live more honestly from the heart, not only ache from the heart in silence. That is the actual growth here, not only feeling intensely, but letting those feelings influence behavior, timing, and the willingness to be more emotionally transparent. Let's see what else they would say to you. I want you so much that it is starting to scare me. Wow, yes. That feels very true because I do not think this person enjoys how strong their attachment has become. Here's another. I thought I could keep this contained, but it keeps spilling into everything. Yes. And that makes sense because when a person becomes deeply preoccupied with someone, it starts affecting mood, focus, and how they carry themselves. Here's another. I know that watching from a distance is not going to be enough for me much longer. Wow. Yes, that says so much because it shows the threshold very clearly. They are reaching the point where passivity hurts more than risk. What are you being asked to remember while all of this unfolds? Here is the Empress. Beautiful spirit wants you rooted in your worth, your grace, and your ability to receive without chasing. You do not need to perform your beauty or prove your value. You already hold the energy that has them this focused. And that means you can remain still in your truth while they decide whether they are ready to come towards you in a real way. Let's get one more. Here's the Star. Wow. Yes. Stay open to healing. Stay open to a better outcome than what has been here before. But do not let another person's fixation become the center of your emotional world. Because I feel the deepest guidance here is this. Let their desire reveal them, but let their actions define the next chapter. That is how you stay in your power while the connection moves into a more visible phase. And I feel that visible phase is much closer now because what has been buried is too strong to remain hidden for long. All right, let's get deeper into the messages now because I feel there is a lot this person has wanted to say but has not fully known how to deliver cleanly. Here is the first message. I cannot stop thinking about you, and it is getting harder to pretend this is casual. Wow, yes, That fits everything. I do not feel this person is casually interested. I feel they are consumed in a way that surprises them. And maybe they have tried to minimize that to themselves, but I do not think it is working anymore. Here's another. I want your affection, your attention, your body near mine, and your eyes on me. Wow, yes. And even without getting graphic, you can feel how strong the pull is here. This is a person who wants closeness in a very real way. Here's another. When I think about somebody else getting the version of you I want, it completely throws me. Yes, because the thought of you belonging elsewhere has become a trigger that reveals the depth of their attachment. Let's get another message. What is most alive in their heart right now? Here is, I want to be the one you reach for. Wow, yes. And that feels very important because it is not only about wanting you in some abstract way, it is about wanting to matter to you specifically. What are they still hesitant about? Here is the Seven of Wands. Yes. So there is still defensiveness in them. They worry about your response. They worry about whether you still have the same opening toward them. And they worry about what they will have to reveal if they finally stop hiding. Let's clarify the Seven of Wands. Here's the Five of Pentacles. Wow. Yes. Another fear is being locked out. Another fear is realizing they cannot just reappear and expect everything to be as accessible as it once felt. And one more. Here is Judgment. Beautiful. So the reason this still moves is because the inner call is stronger than the fear. What they feel has reached a point where silence feels like a worse outcome than honesty. What do they secretly hope for? Here's the Six of Cups. Yes. They hope the sweetness is still there. They hope the connection still has warmth in it. They hope your heart has not fully moved away while they were still wrestling with themselves. What does Spirit most want you to know about that? Here is the Queen of Wands. Wow, Spirit wants you to remember the power of your presence. This person is not reacting this strongly for no reason. Your energy has imprinted on them. The way you look, the way you feel, the way you carry yourself, and the way your attention lands all matter more to them than they may have openly said. Let's get another message from them. I think about touching your life more directly than I do now, and that thought stays with me. Wow, yes. And that says a lot because it shows the fantasy is already starting to turn toward a wish for actual involvement. Here is another. I am tired of wanting you in private. Yes, that feels like the real shift because private wanting can go on for a long time, but eventually it reaches a limit if the desire is strong enough. What would help this next phase most? Here is the Knight of Pentacles. Beautiful. Spirit is saying slower, sincere steps are better than impulsive moves made only from frustration or longing. If they come closer, let it be because they are becoming steadier, not just more agitated. Let's get another card. Here's the Wheel of Fortune. Wow. Yes, timing is turning, the cycle is shifting, and I feel that is why the energy looks so pressurized. What used to remain stuck in private thought is beginning to want outer movement. What are you being asked to do with that? Here is the Empress and the Queen of Swords. Beautiful softness and clarity together. You do not need to become hard. You do not need to prove your beauty, and you do not need to scramble just because someone finally feels more desperate to reach you. You simply remain in your worth and let the next move reveal what this person is actually ready for. Because if they want you as much as the reading is showing, then the next thing must be effort with shape, not only longing with no follow through. Let's get one more message from their heart. I think wanting you this much is forcing me to be more honest with myself than ever before. Wow, yes. And that really is the core of the reading. The wanting is not the problem. The problem has been what they do with it. And I feel the next step matters because it tells you whether this person can transform raw desire into cleaner intention, clearer contact, and more mature energy. And I do feel they are close to that threshold. Now, close enough that the connection may start feeling different very suddenly, because once a person stops fighting what they feel, their actions begin changing too. And I think that is where this is heading very soon. All right, let's close this out with some final messages because this reading feels like it is bringing private desire toward a much more visible threshold. Here's the first closing message. I want you more than I know how to say, and keeping that inside has made me restless. Wow, yes, that is exactly the heart of this reading. This person has been carrying more heat, more focus, and more attachment than they have been comfortable admitting. And I feel the reason it matters so much now is because their silence is no longer reducing what they feel. It is only making it louder inside them. Here is the next message. I do not want anybody else having access to the version of you I still dream about. Wow. Yes, and that is very intense. But I also feel it shows how personally they take the thought of losing their place with you. Here is another one. I know that if I keep standing still, I could end up watching you give your love somewhere else. Yes. And that realization feels like one of the strongest turning points in the whole reading, because time no longer feels endless to them. What does Spirit most want you to remember? Here's the Ten of Pentacles. Beautiful, Spirit wants you to remember that your future is not meant to revolve around someone else's hesitation. Your life is rich, your path is full, and anything entering your world should add steadiness, care, and substance. Let's get another advice card. Here is the Star. Yes, stay open to healing. Stay open to a brighter direction than what has been here before. But do not let another person's urgency become your emotional burden. And let's get one more. Here's the Queen of Swords. Exactly. Clarity belongs here. Boundaries belong here. Truth belongs here. You can understand why someone feels this strongly and still require them to show up in a way that honors your peace. What is the highest potential here if both people honor what is being revealed? Here is the Two of Cups and the King of Pentacles. Beautiful. So the highest potential is mutual feeling meeting reliability. Not only longing, not only fantasy, something with actual weight that matters, because this reading is not only about being wanted. It is about whether being wanted begins turning into being chosen, being respected, and being approached with real presence. What would they say to you if no pride and no fear were left in the way? Here's the first message. I only want you, and I am tired of acting like that is not true. Wow. Yes. And that feels like one of the clearest statements in the whole reading. Here's another. I have been trying to stay cool, but all it has done is make me more aware of how much I want you. Yes, that makes sense because suppression has not created distance for them. It has created more inner noise. Here is another one. The more I picture losing my chance with you, the more I realize I need to do something real. Wow, yes. And that tells me the next chapter is not meant to stay in imagination. The imagination has done its job. It has shown them the truth. Now action has to answer it. Let's get one final oracle card. Here is truth. Wow, and here's another approach. Beautiful. So I feel the closing energy is very simple. Truth wants approach now. Truth wants movement. Now truth wants to become more visible than it has been. So the final message I am getting is this. This person wants you very strongly. They think you are beautiful in a way that reaches beyond appearance. They are not casually interested, they are not halfway curious, and they are not as detached as they may have tried to look. Spirit is also saying this. Desire alone is not enough. What matters from here is whether this person allows what they feel to make them braver, steadier, and more sincere. Because if all they do is ache for you in silence, nothing really changes. But if the wanting pushes them into truth, then the whole connection can begin shifting. If you have felt them becoming more intense, more watchful, or more energetically loud, I feel you are reading that correctly. Something inside them has crossed a line. They know they want you. They know they are affected by you. And they know somebody else could take the place they keep imagining for themselves. For now, stay calm, stay grounded, stay in your worth, because the more you do that, the more clearly you will see whether this person is moving from attraction into honest effort, and from honest effort into something that can actually hold. And here is one final closing message. Wanting you has stripped away every excuse I used to hide behind. Wow. Yes, that feels like the ending. The intensity broke through the defense. Now we see what they do with the truth that remains. And I do feel what they do next tells you everything about whether this connection is ready to become clearer, steadier, and much more real than it has been before. Very soon. Watch how they begin closing the distance. That is where the answer lives now. Here's the first closing message. I want you more than I know how to say. And keeping that inside has made me restless. Wow. Yes, that is exactly the heart of this reading. This person has been carrying more heat, more focus,